Hello, this is the Council on Independent Fundamental Bible Doctrine. I am doing my next video in the Amazing Word series on the science section, and we're looking at other passages and parts of the Bible that teach about science thousands of years before science figured it out. Okay? And as we have seen, there is a lot of science in the Bible where the Bible alludes to scientific facts and scientific theories that humans did not even perceive of for thousands of years after it was written in the Bible. So let's go ahead and look at some more. I do want to make the comment, though, that it's not just the science in the Bible. One of the most miraculous things about the Bible, it's not just the presence of accurate science. Okay, it's the exclusion of false science. A lot of the other world religions and stuff, some of them just get plain silly, like the giant turtle and this and that and this and that. The interesting thing is, the Bible doesn't have any of that false science in it. And the science it does have in it just happens to be accurate, and it happens to be accurate thousands of years before science figured it out. That's the amazing thing about the Bible. Okay? It's a two-sided coin. Not only does the Bible possess science that is accurate, way beyond, thousands of years beyond when humankind learned it, but it excludes the false. Okay, and we'll talk about that more as we go along. But let's go ahead and look at this. Leviticus 19:19, you shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed, neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee. Science has just recently discovered the problems that can occur with one kind of animal, such as one type of deer procreating with a different type of deer, like deer and elk, or some different breed of deer that's so different that the offspring is undesirable. Okay, so even though it's in the same family, you wouldn't want them procreating. Okay, because science has just recently figured out that there are problems with that. Okay, so the Bible's saying, don't gender your herds with don't mix them with different kinds. Okay, even within the same kind of animal, keep them separate, keep them pure. Okay, and the Bible's saying this about 4,000 years before science found out. Okay, and this is one of those that science has not yet even learned, because they're hybridizing seeds and genetically modifying seeds, and I think they're going to find in the future that that was not a good idea. All these things that we've been talking about that the Bible says don't do, and we discovered thousands of years later that we shouldn't do them because they cause health problems and issues. Okay, this is one of the few that the Bible tells us not to do that we're still doing. Okay, so that's something that you scientists might want to look into. Okay, like the hybridization and genetically modifying of the seeds and stuff. That does not appear to be something that God would want you to be doing, especially since He says don't do it. Maybe even like skin allergies with the mixing of wool and linen and stuff. There's probably side effects and results that we haven't even noticed yet. But these are areas where science has not really learned the issues yet, in all of them. All right? Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed, which thou hast sown, and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. I have a bad feeling about all the mixing and of hybridization and genetically modifying of organisms in the seeds, and the breeding of stock animals that are mixing different breeds and such. I don't know that that's always a great idea. I don't think it's going to end well. Okay? So those are things that the Bible mentions. And the one we just learned about recently. And the other, I believe we're going to learn about in the future. Ecclesiastes 1:6. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to its circuits. Okay, science did not track wind movement until the 1900s with the emergence of weather radar. You know how when you're watching the weather, they got the green screen like thing, and you can see the big giant circles that are going? Okay, before we had radar and TV and all that, okay, before we had weather radar, the wind blew in your face. So what does that mean? Well, that means the only thing you knew about the wind was that it blew in your face. You didn't know it moved in these giant circular patterns that the modern day radar shows us. Okay, but the Bible tells us that it moves in those giant circular patterns, okay, thousands of years before weather radar was ever even invented, before anybody ever felt the wind or knew anything about the wind other than just what they felt that it was blowing in their face. No one knew it moved in these giant circular patterns, but the Bible knew it 3,000 years prior to science catching up. It literally knew wind patterns thousands of years before weather radar was even invented. Jeremiah 10:13. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, that bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. It is he that buildeth the stories in the heavens, and he hath founded his troop in the earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out on the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. For he maketh small the drops of water. They pour down the rain according to the vapor thereof, which the clouds do drop and distill upon man abundantly. Okay, so the hydrological cycle was discovered in 1957, credited to Jacob, whatever his name is, a Norwegian American meteorologist, which is great that he was credited with the discovery, but here it is in the Bible written in Job, which is believed to be one of the oldest writings in the Bible. Therefore, we see that the Bible had the process down before 4,000 years prior to science catching up. Read the above again. The vapors go up and ascend from the bodies of water, being the oceans and seas. The wind blows the vapor over the land, okay, the clouds and such. It rains down on the land. The water runs back into the rivers and down to the sea where it started. Then they ascend up again, and the process goes on and on. Here it is, 4,000 years prior to science catching it up. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place where whence the rivers came, thither they return again. The rivers run to the sea, and then return to where it came from. It just so happens that the Bible states correct science thousands of years before science figured it out. This stuff is, it's spot on. And it's thousands of years prior to when these things are declared by science. Psalms 19:4. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Okay, science in the past would look at this verse and say that the Bible was wrong, saying that the word circuit meant that the Bible said that the sun went around the earth. Of course, this was when science thought that the sun was stationary and did not move. Science has very recently discovered that the sun is actually moving on a circuit as well as the planets. It's almost like the solar system itself is moving in a circuit. So you see all these things moving around the sun? The entire solar system, they've just discovered that the entire solar system is moving on a circuit as well. It was actually reported that science thought that the sun was moving about 600,000 miles per hour. They are currently considering the possibility that could be a little slower than this. This is all very current scientific stuff. They could have just read their Bible and they would have known 3,000 years before now that the sun was moving on a circuit. Interestingly enough, the verse does not say the sun's circuit is going around the earth. Therefore, now that we know the sun is moving in its circuit, it seems that the Bible just happened to state the correct science thousands of years ago. Okay, so when the Bible stated that the sun was moving on a circuit, okay, people just assumed that it meant that the sun was going around the earth because that's their perception from where they seen it. Okay, but that's not what the verse says. The verse just says the sun moves on its circuit. And now we know that the sun is moving on a circuit. It's actually moving, like as if the whole solar system is going around on a circuit as well. And that's exactly what they've discovered. And that's exactly fitting with what the Bible says. This stuff, I mean, it just fits scientific fact perfectly. Doesn't fit the scientific fiction, the science fiction that evolution and them try to teach, but it fits the facts perfectly. The Bible fits perfectly. So let's go on. I'll get another video up. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.